The SS5 incident happened on a winter's day 12 years ago, February 10th to be precise. Your police received a call directly from the kidnapper. I've got the president of Zheng Fa. So he was kidnapped? Yeah, SS5 is the official designation of the president's kidnapping case. The kidnapper wanted $100 million. $100 million? How much money even is that? More than you can imagine, it seems. The last person to see the president that night was my father. They were together at the embassy of Zheng Fa until midnight on the 10th, and nobody knows what happened with the president after that until he was kidnapped. Our government did everything they could to scrape together the money. They were desperate to save him. And in the end, they succeeded. The money was handed over and the president came home safely.
So President Wang was head honcho even back then? Wow. Yo, Mr. President.
The length of time he stayed in power isn't even close to the most impressive thing about him. Agent Lang was clearly very fond of President Wang. I assume the kidnapping was thoroughly investigated? It was. But the investigation was top secret, as was the trial. The trial? So a suspect was arrested? Yeah, none other than our friend Fifi Lagarde. What? Is that why you visited the prison? It is. I was put on what you might call extended leave from Interpol. So I thought I'd use the time to look into what happened 12 years back. And I wanted to see who I was dealing with.
She was found not guilty then, wasn't she?
Yeah. My father was in charge of the president's security at the time. But they held him responsible for the kidnapping and stripped him of his duties as presidential bodyguard. He stayed on the force though, and he worked the case alone. Until eventually, he found a suspect, Lagarde. And if he thought she did it, there's no way she was innocent. But they declared her not guilty, and the case went cold. My father couldn't take it. He was broken, mentally and physically. Finally, he quit the force altogether. So he had solid grounds to suspect Warden Lagarde. He must have had evidence. He wouldn't have charged her otherwise. But I've never been able to see the materials from the case. I'm sorry. That's all I know.
What do we do, Mr. Edgeworth? This is useful information, but I don't think it's enough for Little Thief to recreate the scene.
Is there really nothing we can do?
Hold it! You look like you could use a hand.
Who's this now? Francisca!
And Mr. Fender!
We finally wrapped things up over at the courthouse, so we thought we'd see what you kids were up to.
Here.
What's this? It says SS5 Incident Investigation Report. Well, well.
When Fifi Lagarde mentioned an incident from 12 years ago earlier, I couldn't help but wonder. So I decided to look into it, and this was what Interpol provided.
Nice work, Francisca.
Don't get the wrong idea, Miles Edgeworth. You're no longer a prosecutor. I didn't do this for you. I did it so that a colleague could solve his father's final case.
I owe you, sis. But everything related to the SS5 incident was supposed to be top secret.
Yes, but that classification was applied by the prosecutor in charge of the case. Excelsius Winner.
He was the prosecutor in charge? Him again.
Don't worry. Due to the outcome of this morning's case, he's been stripped of his authority. An outcome that was in no small part thanks to the efforts of his own son.
Eustace. So in defeating his father, he made the old case file available to us? It seems like we owe him.
Prosecutor Eustace Winner is busy wrapping things up after the conclusion of the Lagarde trial. But he asked me to give you a message. Leave Dad and Lagarde to me. You focus on your case over there.
He's even starting to sound like a prosecutor.
Indeed he is. Alright! Now that we have the case file, I can recreate the scene no problem.
Excellent. Let's get started. Huh? According to the file, the incident occurred exactly where the plaza is now.
Then what are we waiting for? With me, everybody!
April 6, 3:25 p.m. Big building, plaza. Alright, Kay. If you could set Mr. Thief in motion.
Sure! Looks like there's more than enough here to work with. Where do you want to start?
Good question. Let's see. It seems there was an eyewitness, a freelance journalist by the name of Alf Aldau. But apparently, he was killed by the culprit for witnessing the kidnapping. So this is where he saw it all happen, huh?
Here? As in the big building?
No, construction of the big building only began a year ago. Before that, it had been a piece of abandoned property. And before that, now we're getting to the stuff I know. 12 years ago, this place would have been the happy family home. Like, for retired people? No, it was a place for children without parents. An orphanage, in other words. The president was kidnapped from an orphanage? Yeah, and the place was run by Fifi Lagarde. She called it her happy little home.
As the proprietor of the institution, I suppose it's understandable that she came under suspicion.
President Wang, Excelsius winner, and Warden Lagarde? Surely the SS5 incident must be related to our current case. Kay, could you enter the data related to the murder of Mr. Aldau? It seems sensible to assume that he was killed by whoever kidnapped the president.
So if we solve the murder, we solve the kidnapping. Nice!
Alright, we're counting on you. What the heck's this? When did I grow to become so blazed towards people's reactions to Mr. Thief? What we're seeing here is the front yard of the orphanage as it was 12 years ago. At least, as far as the police reports describe it.
Yeah, this is how it looked when they started investigating at 7 a.m. the morning after the murder.
And it seems it had been snowing. Yeah, from what I heard, the footprints wound up being pretty important evidence. The snow fell in the daytime the previous day. In other words, before the incident occurred, meaning that none of the relevant footprints would have been obscured by new snow. I think we'll need to pay those footprints some special attention. Let us begin the investigation. Time to get started. And yes, this is part 5, by the way. Or 6. Alf Aldau, the man who witnessed the president's kidnapping. But what exactly did he see?
I based this part of the recreation on one of the crime scene photos.
It seems he suffered a blow to the back of the head.
Yeah, from that brick right there. They figured it must have been taken from here in the yard.
It looks like the blood flowed from the head wound and spread over the surrounding area.
Here, a gift for you. This is Mr. Aldau's autopsy report.
I must scour the scene and inspect anything that catches my attention. First, the body. Alf Aldau, freelance journalist, killed after witnessing the kidnapping of President Wang.
Even in the recreation, it's pretty gruesome, huh?
It's even worse than the actual crime scene photos. That's a lot of blood. It seems mostly to have come from the back of the head. As you can see, the area is completely caked.
Yeah, the autopsy report says that's where he was hit with the brick.
Indeed. I imagine his attacker must have snuck up on him from behind. It looks as if he's clutching something in his right hand.
Oh yeah, they mentioned that in the file somewhere. Let's see. According to this, it was a button.
A button? Torn from the attacker's clothing, perhaps? Yeah. Now to examine the camera. So the victim was carrying a camera.
Oh yeah, according to the file, they recovered a picture. Yeah. Here we are.
That's...
It's the president, right?
And somebody's pointing a gun at him. This must be what Mr. Owldown witnessed.
So the person in the trench coat is the kidnapper?
Yes, I imagine they were trying to conceal their identity. But if Agent Lang's father's theory was correct, the person wearing that trench coat is Warden Lagarde.
How come they only found the one picture?
He probably wasn't able to take any more before he was attacked. Yeah. Now let's check out the brick. This was the brick used in the murder.
There's stuff made of bricks all around the yard here. They probably took it from somewhere nearby, huh?
Yeah, that's right. Now let's examine the cell phone. This cell phone must have belonged to the victim.
You're right. Yeah, it says here in the file that Mr. Owldown made a call while he was watching the kidnapping.
A call? To whom?
His
girlfriend. Seems he called her when he saw that the president was there. But she didn't pick up, so he left a message.
That's in here too, if you want to hear it.
Please. Hey, Rosie, it's me. I guess you're asleep already. Anyway, I'm here at the orphanage. Something weird's going on. President Wang is here for some reason, and there's another... Damn it! The light's out, so I can't quite see, but it looked like he was being kidnapped? Anyway, probably nothing, but I thought I should let you know. What were those sounds at the end? He must have been attacked while he was still on the phone.
Agent Lang, can I ask you something? Mr. Owldown's girlfriend, what was her name?
Ringer. Rosie Ringer. At least that's what I heard.
Just as I thought. Wait, you mean...
Her revenge for what happened 12 years ago.
All Miss Ringer was left with were the memories and personal effects of her lover. And so, seeking revenge on Chairman Winner, she made her appearance at the auction. So she really was out for revenge on Chairman Winner, wasn't she?
Perhaps it was for his suppression of the kidnapper. Or perhaps it was because she thought he was one of the kidnappers. Spelling fail right here. We got it down, the organizer. Now let's investigate the area around. These planters.
According to the case file, the yard stretched around 3 sides of the orphanage. And there were 3 planters on each side.
Yes, planters arranged in a very particular pattern. One we've seen somewhere before.
Shame there aren't many flowers, but I guess it was the middle of winter.
Yes, but look at that one. It's bright yellow.
Weird. How come there's only one?
Wait, it looks like somebody dropped it.
That's a lion lily, if I'm not very much mistaken. A rare member of the family Liliaceae.
A lion lily, you say?
Wait, didn't Tiscavel give President Wang some lion lilies?
What is the same flower doing here? This can't be a coincidence, can it?
I believe this particular cultivar is from Asia, where it's said to symbolize the bond between parent and child.
I wasn't aware you were so knowledgeable when it came to flowers, Francisca.
Huh. What I just told you is common knowledge. Perhaps you just need to read a little more.
Yeah, you're right. Which is why we need to complete the planters with 3 footprints. So that's what our monstrous hoof prints really were.
Wait, what?
Recall the arrangement of the prints. Now compare it to that of the planters.
Whoa!
That's right. I believe the footprints are located exactly where our planters once stood.
So Chairman Winner was digging around the front of them?
He was. And why might he have been doing that? We have a piece of evidence in our possession that answers exactly that question. Which piece of evidence shows why Chairman Winner might have been digging in front of the planters? That's simple. The report on night.
Recall, if you will, the report that Warden Lagarde sent to Chairman Winner. In it, she mentioned something that he had been laid to rest in front of a planter. You think she was telling him where to dig? Wait, but why 3 holes? Because the report didn't specify which of the planters she meant. I get it. So he wasn't sure which one it was, which meant he had to try and dig up all 3. I imagine so, yes. Poor Chairman Winner. But why go through all that trouble? What was he looking for?
Yeah, now let's investigate here. There are bird marks on this pillar here.
The report says there was a fire somewhere on the evening of the incident.
A fire?
Let's see, where was it again? Ah, yeah, one of the orphans set a fire with some kerosene. Some sort of prank, probably.
They sound like a lively bunch. Possibly too lively. It seems their antics spoiled our chances of finding any footprints near the entrance of the building. But we did get fire on the organizer. Now let's examine these footprints. These footprints stop by the body.
I guess that means they belong to Mr. Aldown, right? His feet were pretty big. What's that, about a size 12? According to the file, they were the same size as his shoes. It's a match.
These footprints go toward the body and come back.
According to the case file, they're thought to be the killers. They're about a size 9. Pretty average, in other words. Seems the police weren't able to track down who the murderer was from then, though.
That's actually interesting. Now let's talk to Lang. 3 planters, covered with snow.
Is anything the matter, Agent Lang?
Yeah, something's not right. I wasn't able to look at the case file until now. Indeed, you have Chairman Winner to thank for that, it seems. Yeah, but what's weird is, I've seen this scene somewhere before.
What?
But where? I keep thinking I got it, but then it's gone. He appears to be lost in his efforts to remember. Perhaps I should leave him alone for now. I know. I think that's about all we can learn from this scene for now.
Alright, how about I try to show you how things looked earlier on that night?
That would be very much appreciated. Could you take us back to the moment in which the victim witnessed the kidnapping?
Sure, I'll use the photograph he took. Here goes nothing.
There's Mr. Aldown in the middle of the planters.
And there's the president and his kidnapper out by the road.
My father based his investigation on the evidence Aldown provided. That was why he thought the kidnapping and the orphanage were connected somehow. And how he wound up suspecting Fifi Lagarde. She was the one running the orphanage at the time. Exactly. But when the case went to trial, Excelsius Winter put a big hole in that theory. He did. Yeah, after all, the president and the kidnapper weren't actually on the grounds of the orphanage. So it was hard to conclusively prove any kind of connection.
Huh? So they were never seen inside the gates of the orphanage?
Detectives bust a gut to find evidence on the scene. And then prosecutors come along and twist it for their own ends. Winter and Lagarde were working together. They had some kind of deal. I'm sure of it.
So you're saying that Chairman Winter was working with the kidnapper?
Your father was convinced that Lagarde was the culprit, correct? And you say he was a gifted and thorough investigator. Then he must have had more to support his theory than just Mr. Aldown's message, surely. Yeah, he must have. I just don't know what it was. It wasn't exactly a case he liked talking about. Agent Lang's father, DeLong Lang, trusted ally and confidant of President Wang. He discovered truths that were subsequently suppressed by Chairman Winner. Our first priority should be to find out what they were. And that's exactly what we're going to do. Was Winner involved? And what did Winner dig up? If Chairman Winner was involved in President Wang's abduction, then it seems likely that whatever he dug up yesterday had something to do with the kidnapping.
Oh, I get it.
You do?
You bet I do. We're talking treasure, right? Loot. He must have been digging up the ransom money.
The ransom money? $100 million is an awful lot of cash. Burying it would have been a good way to keep it hidden until the heat died down. It certainly seems like a possibility.
Glad you agree.
Now let's examine the incident itself. I must scour the scene and inspect anything that catches my attention. First, the head.
Hey, that snowman. It was melted in the simulation of the morning after the murder, huh? And that muffler was all wet, and its little button eyes have fallen off.
Indeed, it still looked reasonably healthy at this point. Although not entirely. I can see one thing that's missing.
Aw, poor guy. I bet some kid took it as a stupid prank. Not a bad piece of thieving, though. Maybe they had potential.
You think one of the orphans took it? I'm not so sure. In fact, I think it was grabbed by somebody else entirely. Yup. It's time to deduce this snowman with the one thing. The bloody button. Eureka! This snowman is missing a certain something, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, his right eye.
Indeed. Luckily, we've managed to locate it.
The button Mr. Aldown was holding. Look at that! It's the same type of button as the other eye and everything.
And if we suppose that the button was indeed the snowman's missing eye, that presents something of a contradiction. What does the button contradict? The victim's location! The victim was clutching the button, and the button was covered with his blood, which means he must have grabbed it after being attacked. Let's run a little hypothetical, shall we? What if after being struck, Mr. Aldown lost his balance and reached out to grab something to steady himself? The snowman. The snowman wouldn't have supported him, so he would have grasped the button and continued falling.
I get it. So you're saying that he was near the snowman when he was attacked?
I am. Within arm's reach, to be precise. And he's currently nowhere near that close.
Right, but his footprints only go as far as the planter. He never came back this way.
What if they weren't his footprints? I think we need to look at all the prints again.
All right, I'll take us back to the sea when Mr. Aldown's body was found.
I swear this is gonna kill my voice.
But the footprints on the left definitely matched up with Mr. Aldown's shoes, right? So what's the deal?
Let's take another look and see if we can figure it out. I think we should. I must scour the scene and inspect anything that catches my attention. These shoes! These shoes. As the case file says, they match the footprints, but... Huh? These aren't the victim's shoes. I'm sure of it.
What do you mean?
Look at how the laces are tied. Don't they look a little strange to you? What's more, they don't appear to fit properly. Yeah, you're right.
So these prints, they go right up to where the victim was found and they stop right by his feet?
But they didn't actually belong to him.
So are the prints by his head his? The ones that led away and come back?
No, I don't think so. They're too small.
So neither set belongs to him. Then, how did he get here?
That's easy enough. He didn't walk. He was carried by the killer. So then, where the murder took place? Was it really over by the snowman as we suspect? I agree. I think Mr. Aldown's body was moved. How else do we explain the button clutched in his hand? And that would suggest that he was killed somewhere near the snowman. I'd better take a closer look. I must scour the scene and inspect anything that catches my attention. Yeah, there's a gap. Something's off.
Huh? Look! There's a brick missing here!
The rest of the brickwork looks fine. Strange that just this one is missing.
Poor Snowman, he's not looking good.
Can't be helped. Snow and ice eventually melt. That's just how it is.
And so do mysteries. All we have to do is wait. The snowman of the case will melt into the clear water of truth.
All you have to do is wait, Kay. I have to work to solve these mysteries. He's right about that. Now let's connect the missing brick to the brick used in the murder. It seems quite likely that the missing brick was the one used in the murder, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, now that you mention it, they're the exact same shape and size.
Yup, now we connect the body was moved with the brick from by the snowman. I think we have to conclude that the murder actually happened over by the snowman.
Right, the button came from there, and the brick too.
Indeed, and what's more, if the murderer took the brick from right by the snowman, and then tried to sneak up on the victim all the way over by the planters,
Mr. Aldown would have seen them right away.
Exactly. I think we need to update the simulation, Kay. Mr. Aldown wasn't standing by the planters. He was next to the snowman.
Gotcha. All right, here goes.
Yeah, look at this.
Yeah, no matter how you look at it, this just doesn't work, huh?
Indeed. Everybody who was present is in exactly the same spot.
So, where did we go wrong?
One of the pieces of evidence on which we based our simulation must be the source of the problem. What if one of them was faked somehow? But which one was it? Simple! Mr. Aldown's photograph!
Take that!
Can we really be certain that this picture was taken by Mr. Aldown?
Huh? What do you mean?
We know that whoever killed them moved his body, but why would they have done that? What if they wanted to make it seem like he saw something he didn't?
And then they took the photo to help back up the lie?
They had the president at gunpoint. They could easily have forced him to pose for the picture. He would have had no choice but to comply.
Hey, now that you mention it, they only recovered one picture from Mr. Aldown's camera, right?
Indeed. I imagine his killer probably removed the film that was already in there, then replaced it with another, thereby ensuring that the only picture found was the one they staged.
Yeah, that makes total sense. So this picture was actually taken after Mr. Aldown was killed? No way.
Yep, the data's now updated. And there you have it. The picture doesn't show what Mr. Aldown saw at all. It seems highly likely that it was simply staged to make us believe that was the case.
Wait, so where was the president when Mr. Aldown thought he saw him being kidnapped?
Luckily, the photograph isn't the only piece of evidence we can use to try and figure this out.
Oh yeah, he left that voicemail too.
He did. I think we should listen back to it one more time, don't you? This is surely the only place where the president and his kidnapper could have been standing. Right here.
Take that!
Recall this statement from Mr. Aldown's voicemail. Damn it, the light's out. 2 of the lights here in the yard are broken.
Yeah, he must have been talking about the one over by the building.
Alright, could you update the simulation to reflect everything we've learned?
Sure.
And there we have it. The kidnapper was really standing over by the building. Yes, which would certainly have strengthened the theory that they were connected to the orphanage. So they moved the body and staged the photograph to distort the picture printed by the voicemail, which helped them undermine the idea that the orphanage was involved when the case went to trial. Well, that certainly changes what this particular part of the simulation tells us. I imagine it will also affect our understanding of the scene from when the body was found.
Only one way to find out. Ready to make the jump?
To switch between the 2 recreations, I need to first press X to talk with K, and then select Switch Recreations. I'll give it a try later, when I need it. And we actually should.
What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? You want me to show you the scene as reported in the police case files, right? Okay, let's take another look at how things were when they found the body. And there we have it.
So this is where Mr. Aldon really met his fate.
But he was moved in order to make the scene consistent with the stage photograph, over to the spot between the planters. So the footprints, the fact that they go over there and come back. Yes, I think that tells us something important. That they were left by whoever carried them over there.
Exactly.
I must scour the scene and inspect anything that catches my attention.
Blood on the snow. A lot of it. It certainly looks as if a murder occurred here, doesn't it?
Wait, but we just figured out that Mr. Aldon was killed over by the snowman, right?
We did. I think this blood might belong to somebody else.
What? But the police report said the blood was Mr. Aldon's. Need I remind you that the case was overseen by Chairman Winner? The man would have had no scruples about altering the official record over something this small. But then, why go to all that trouble? Couldn't he have just cleaned up the blood instead?
He wasn't able to. Think about it. He knew that this was where the police would find Mr. Aldon's body, and he knew that the police would have certain scientific methods at their disposal to look for clues.
Oh, you mean luminol? Yeah, they would have found traces of blood if they used that for sure.
Exactly. He wouldn't have been able to clean it up to the point where it was undetectable. Far easier to falsify the results of any such tests when they came back in. It would simply have been a matter of replacing the official results with a doctored copy.
Eesh, so we've been looking at a forgery this whole time? That sucks. Wait, but it says Mr. Aldon's clothes were covered with blood too.
It does, and if they were, which seems entirely believable, it suggests that whoever's blood this is, it wasn't yet dry when Mr. Aldon's body was placed here.
I get it, which means that the other person's blood was spilled not long before Mr. Aldon was killed.
I think it does, yes. But if that's the case, doesn't that present something of a contradiction? Yeah, it does. Let's deduce this. Could this be related to the evidence somehow? Let's deduce this with the fire.
Eureka!
There's a clear contradiction here.
Huh? In the bloodstain?
The blood is clearly cut off where the snow was melted by the fire, which means that the blood in question was spilt before the fire was started.
Huh? But the fire happened before the murder, no?
If we choose to believe the case file, yes. But if the fire was actually set after what happened here, the kid who lit it might have seen something. Then why isn't there a witness statement? Because that would have challenged Chairman Winner's version of events. We need to know more about this fire. You! Yes, Shifu. The fire might have been reported to the police, which means there might be a record of it. Go see if they have anything and bring everything you find back here right away. Understood, Shifu. I'll get right on it. One more thing. What is it, Shifu? Contact my family back in Zheng Fa. Tell them to search my father's office. There should be something there related to the case. There should? What kind of something exactly? I told you I'd seen this scene somewhere before, didn't I? Well, I remembered where. It was in my father's office. He had a picture of it, or at least of something very much like it. What? It looked like it was drawn by a child. Possibly a child. From the orphanage? Possibly even the child who set the fire. It should still be there somewhere. Tell them to send it right away. Yes, Shifu. Investigation complete. And thus this ends the simulation. For the last time. Shifu, I'm back. I brought everything the police had on the fire, and I also brought the picture from your father's office. Oh, and one more thing. About time. What kept you, huh? Well, hand over. Let's take a look at this mysterious picture, shall we? This is it. This is the picture I remember. Could this be a depiction of something that happened on the night of the incident?
Sure looks like a kid drew it, huh?
Yes, and I'm willing to bet it's the work of the child who set the fire. Yeah, it does. Shifu, there's... What now? Look, it'll have to wait, okay? Well, Mr. Prosecutor? Why do you think my father kept this? I imagine he acquired it at some point during his investigation, although I have no idea why he would have chosen to keep it to himself. Could we see the case file for the fire, too? Sure, here. If you'll just give me a moment to read through it. It seems the boy who started the fire snuck out of bed on the evening of the incident. And then disappeared several days later. What? Must have been because he saw something, right?
No! A kid? Really? That's horrible!
But sadly not unimaginable. Huh? Looks like the kid left something behind that was put into evidence. Huh? What's this? That's... But what's it doing in that case file? What is it, Mr. Prosecutor? Have you seen this somewhere before? Something very much like it, yes. We have a piece of evidence that could well be connected. Which item of evidence relates to the item the boy left behind? Simple. The Torosaurus plushie! I don't know what it was doing in the evidence for that case, but it looks like that might be the missing horn from this soft toy. Hey! That was President Wang's! You've seen it before? Of course! He always kept it somewhere close by. I remember it because of the missing piece. I see. It has a special device inserted in it that plays recorded sound when you twist the horn.
Hey, do you think maybe putting the horn back on might unlock more recordings?
Heh, you never know. The toy itself should still be up on the 51st floor. Hey, you heard the man! Yes, Shifu. I'll go fetch it right away. Here it is, Shifu. The Torosaurus doll, just like you asked. Good work. Hand it to the prosecutor over there. Well, does the horn found at the orphanage fit the president's plushie?
It fits perfectly.
And? Any more recordings on there?
Hi, Di-Jun. Sorry, President Wang. It's me, Amelie. I know it's been a while. I saw on the news that you were visiting the country soon, and I didn't know whether I should get in touch at all, but in the end I decided I had to.
Overruled.
Turn it off! Right now!
What's going into Judge Gavel?
Are you okay? Just turn it off! Please! You see, I had a baby. A beautiful little boy. Your beautiful little boy. I'm sorry, that's pretty much all I wanted to tell you. Oh, except I call them Sean. Sean Fen. It has a nice ring to it, don't you think? No!
Sean Fen! The kid?
And also that I'll be at the orphanage on the evening of the 9th. I'll be waiting in the front yard. I thought you could meet him if you like, even if it's only just this once. I know you're a very busy man, but anyway, that's where we'll be. Goodbye.
What? He was my dad?
I'm so sorry, Sean.
Care to explain what the heck is going on, Gavel?
Sean isn't my biological son. I adopted him.
And he was aware of this?
Yes, of course. His mother, Amelie Fen, she died 5 years ago. We were cousins, but we were also friends, the best of friends. People often mistook us for sisters. And so, when she died, it seemed only natural that Sean should come and live with me. Of course, we had to keep his father's identity secret, and I decided that the best way to do that would be for him never to know in the first place.
That's quite a lot to learn from a recording made on a seemingly innocent toy. I guess Sean's mother must have recorded the message and then sent the plushie to the president.
Hey. Yes, Sean?
You're sure? He was really my dad?
Yes, I'm sure. Before you were born, your mother worked for a time as a diplomat in Zheng Fa.
Makes sense. That line of work might well have brought her into contact with the president. What? You told me she worked at the orphanage!
She did, but only after she returned. After she quit the diplomatic service. She always loved helping others. The orphanage was perfect for her.
Not so fast!
Sorry, Judge Cavell, but I have to ask. Amelie, the lady who asked the president to come, why didn't she show up herself? Why isn't she anywhere in the files related to the SS5 incident?
She never made it to the rendezvous that night. Someone was tailing her.
I'll bet that was Chairman Winner's doing, though sadly we can't prove it.
And because she couldn't make it, she never saw the president again.
Then she died 5 years ago. This can't be easy for Sean.
Hey, Sean, are you thirsty? We could go get a soda. My treat, okay? Come on, I think I saw a vending machine over.
You think I can't buy myself a soda? This is important, and it's about me. I'm staying.
Oh, that didn't work at all. Sean, perhaps now you can guess why I met with the president 2 nights ago.
So that's it. That was the big secret.
I wanted to tell him face to face that Amelie was gone, but also that you were alive and well. More than well.
But It makes sense now. No wonder Judge Cavell was so keen to avoid sharing the details of their meeting.
Yeah, she would have had to share the truth about Sean too. That was why I took the lion lilies with me. So there would be no doubt that I knew Amelie, and that I knew her well. These flowers bore special significance for the two of them, you see. President Wang gave Amelie a bouquet of lion lilies in the early days of their romance. But now, he too is dead. If only he had lived, Sean might finally have been able to get to know him.
Shifu, I've been waiting for the right time to save us, but... What? What is it? You've been hovering there this whole time. Can't it wait?
They sent something else from Zheng Fa.
President Wang's will. What?
The president's will, huh?
He gave my father medal after medal. They had to come up with new ones just for him. In the end, there were no medals left to give, so he made us the keepers of his last will and testament. Those medals, that duty, they're our greatest pride, our family jewels. What? This is... What is it, Agent Lang? Does it have anything to do with our current case? You could say that. Seems he was planning on publicly acknowledging Sean as his son.
Hold it! Sean's name appears in the president's will?
And we're certain that the document is authentic? That President Wang wrote it himself? Sure we are. It's old, but it's real. My family took charge of it back before the SS5 incident happened. They'll want to analyze it back home to be sure, but I'd stake my name on it being the genuine article. Wang was a renowned world leader. A child nobody knew about would have been sure to cause a stir. And yet he chose to mention the child in his will nonetheless. Well, that's that, I guess. I still can't quite believe it, but the president confirmed it with his own hand. There's no denying it. Sean, you're President Wang's son.
Sean!
Sean! Wow. What a hell of a plot twist. As if this game can't get any more freaky enough.
Jesus Christ. My voice is gonna kill me, that much I know.
But let me tell you, we're not done yet. We will continue this in the next part. If you enjoyed this, please be sure to hit the like button. It means a lot. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, and click the bell. And I'll see you then. This is MegamanNG signing off. Peace out. Product provided by Capcom.